You know what? It has been a little more than 2 weeks since Matt Giordano officially took over as Phoenix Police Chief. He is stepping into the role at a critical time, leading one of the largest police departments in the country while working to build trust with both the community and his officers.
That's right. This morning, Chief Giordano is joining us live in studio here, which we appreciate so much, to share more of your vision for the department, also what it means to come back. This is a homecoming for you. There's so much to get to here. I know you've had some conversations with the police force as well. Okay, so first up, 2 weeks in, I know it's hard, but how is it going? What has stood out to you?
No, it's been wonderful. It's everything I thought it was going to be. It's just getting back, getting home, getting reacquainted. You know, I've been gone for 8 years, so there's a whole generation of law enforcement officers that weren't there when I was there before. So it's getting to know them, but then also reconnecting with people that I worked with for the last 22 years.
It's interesting because before you came back, you were with AZ Post, where you guys set the standard for what a police officer should be in our state. So when you couple what you were doing with what you need to do now, which is to fill positions, get more officers on the force, how do you do that?
You know, it's just getting the word out, and I've noticed the pendulum has shifted. We're getting twice as many applications as we did this time last year. And again, some of it's process involved. We've created a better process. Our team in employment services is doing a phenomenal job. But just going out there and connecting with the community. But also it's a shift in society. I think more young men and women want to become police officers, where maybe 3 or 4 years ago, the negativity surrounding the profession in the media was turning them off.
What can you attribute that shift to? What do you think recently has happened? Apart from having someone like you coming back to the force, which I think is really special here, because this is where you came up. This is where you learned to be an officer.
Almost
so to come
23
back,
years?
Yeah, so to come back and serve in this capacity, you would think a lot of people want to get behind someone like you.
And I would love to take credit for that.
Yeah, it's all you.
Yeah, people want to come back just because I'm here. But I'm not that naive. I think it's just a shift. It's a really good profession, and I think we're doing a really good job of educating the public on the good things that we do, the good things we get to do if you come to this profession. And I think that's encouraging. And we're going out to schools, we're talking, and we're trying to engage younger members of our community to get them, you know, when they're 14, 15 years old, to understand that, hey, if you want to do this, there's some certain things you need to do in your life to prepare yourself. We're reaping the benefits of that now, I believe.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, you know, it's interesting. I think you've talked before about some of your experiences on the force when you were a patrol officer, and maybe some of the encounters that you wish you could do over and had done differently here. And so how are you bringing that experience to now being the lead of that entire force? I mean, you talked about how you were just so young, a young officer, and a senior officer maybe could have showed you that. How do you give that experience to the young officers who are just coming out of the academy?
I talk about my failures, and you know, I'm not opposed to doing that, because again, we can always get better. And people are going to make mistakes. We hire humans. Humans make mistakes. Let's understand why you made a mistake. Let's understand how we don't do that in the future, and let's get better. But again, I think it's just communication, understanding. And you know, we were professionally 30 years ago. It was, you know, no comment, no comment, no comment. You wouldn't probably have this communication with the police chief 30 years ago. We need to do more of this. We need to educate the community and explain to the community, because those are our customers. That's the community we're serving. They have expectations. We need to make sure we're meeting them. We can't meet them if we don't know what they are. So we have to engage them in communication.
Well, I want to talk about that communication, because right now the community is hurting, especially those at Maryville High School and the Phoenix Union High School or district. Yeah. They're dealing with the death of a student inside a classroom. Have you had conversations moving forward on possibly putting more officers at high schools? What's kind of your plan after reacting to something so devastating inside of a school?
You know, and my wife's a school teacher, so and I've worked as a school resource officer years ago. So again, the priority for the Phoenix Police Department is school safety. We want to make sure that when parents drop off their children at school, those kids are safe. The parents have a feeling of safety, and we're going to work as closely as we can with the school districts to ensure whatever role we have in that, we'll be part of it.
You know, I thought it was interesting. I think it was a week or so ago, we did cover an officer-involved shooting that happened to be outside of an IHOP restaurant on Northern. Now, our crew was there, and they noted that you were there as well, which is not something we would normally see in the situation like what happened. And I just thought it was interesting to have you out there. What did you learn by being out there that morning? Why did you feel it was so important to go so early?
Well, I have to go. I have to support, because again, it's a critical incident. And the men and women that are involved in that, there are repercussions from that. So I need to go out there and show my face, talk to them, make sure they're okay. That's first and foremost. And then overall scene security and the investigation to make sure that's transpiring correctly. Again, but at this role, at this juncture in my career now, back with the Phoenix Police Department, I need to make sure people see me. I need to be leading from the front and engaging with them. Because again, having those conversations out on a scene with a young man or a young woman who's new to this career, to your previous point, that communication style, explaining what they want, I want to role model good behavior. So that's why I feel it's very important for me to get out there as soon as possible.
Listen, the Phoenix Police Department, they haven't had a permanent chief for 3 years. So to come in at this time, do you feel a little bit like you're having to pick up the pieces, having to pick up morale?
I don't feel like I'm picking up the pieces because Mike Sullivan and the team did such a good job over the last couple of years putting in policies, putting in changes. Again, now it's just reconnecting with the people I worked with for all those years and letting them know that they're valued, that their voice, that I will listen to their voice, take their suggestions, and we'll work with the community to make the Phoenix Police Department even better than it already is.
Are there any changes you can tell us right now that you are looking to make, whether is it to training or certain procedures that you have currently? What's something we can kind of look out for, like, hey, we're going to try and turn this around?
Yeah, we're always looking at training. We're always looking at policies. We're always getting community input on our policies to evolve. Historically, police departments evolved very, very slowly, and we just don't have that luxury anymore. We need to make sure we're meeting the needs of the community. So that's what you're going to see from me. But I'm also not just a big change person. I don't need to come in and just put my name on everything. I'm not that person. I want to sit back. I ask a lot of questions, understand what we're doing, because things have changed in 8 years. We do things differently today than we did when I left in 2017. So I want to make sure I understand it fully before we start implementing any kind of major changes. But right now, I think the Phoenix Police Department is doing a wonderful job. I want to just get ingrained, and then move forward.
Can I ask you, as we're almost, have to wrap up here, and I feel like we could talk to you so much longer. There's so much with the department. But what is success going to look like for you? When will you feel like I have this department exactly where I feel like it needs to be?
For me, those are some things that are hard to quantify. I think for me right now, we're really working on hiring and training. Okay. If down the road, I don't know how long that lives, when I finally retire from police work, I would love to say that we have a fully staffed police department.
Wow.
And of highly qualified, highly trained members of our department that provide excellent service to the community.
How far away are we from that, from being fully staffed?
That's the million-dollar question. Yeah. We're still about 600 officers down.
Okay.
So we're doing better. Like I said, our applications are doubling. We're working on our processes on the other end of the application process. I was just down the academy 2 weeks ago for a graduation, and we have a lot of recruits down there now, which we hadn't had for the last couple months. So it's really encouraging. Yeah. I'm excited, but I wish I had a timeline. I wish I had a crystal ball.
I know, we all do.
Yeah, but we're working very hard, and the team in Employment Services is doing a phenomenal job.
It's a tough job.
Yeah, Chief Giordano, thank you so much for joining us.